Good morning class. I am Dr. Ashwini Katule, Assistant Professor, Community Medicine Department. Today we will discuss concept of health, mainly on the prevention. The concept of control. The term disease control describe ongoing operations aimed at reducing incidence of disease, duration of disease, and that risk of transmission of any disease, the effect of infection, including both the physical and psychological complication and financial burden to the community. To reduce, to control any disease, it is a directly proportion to the incidence of disease or prevalence of disease, inversely proportion to the incidence or prevalence of the disease. If we control the any disease, then automatically the incidence of disease or prevalence of disease reduce. What is mean by incidence of disease? It is the number of new cases occurring in a certain geographic area in a certain period of time. And what is mean by prevalence? Occurrence of old and new cases in certain geographic area in a specific time. Means prevalence is a old plus new cases. It's an addition of old cases present in that area as well as new cases present in that area. And incidence means only new cases, only new active cases present in the certain geographic area. If we control any disease, automatically incidence and prevalence of that disease reduces gradually, and the duration of that disease is also reduced, and that risk of transmission of any infective agent, that is also reduced, and it directly include the physical reduce the physical and psychological complication, and ultimately it leads to reduce the financial burden of the community. For example, if we are taking care for TB patients, so much tuberculosis is very prevalent in India as well as surrounding nearby countries also, like Nepal and all. So if you want to reduce or control that disease, you have to control the transmission of that disease. Means you have to reduce the control the transmission of the agent, which is tuberculosis bacteria. We have to control that, and after controlling that, means through aerosol or through sputum, whatever microorganism is spreading in the environment, we have to control that. And simultaneously we have to give treatment, and we have to make inactive that all patients who are active in the geographic area. That ultimately reduce the risk of transmission also in that area, and in long term it will reduce the financial burden on the community also. This is the best example. Tuberculosis is the best example for that. Control means it's a communicable disease also, and prevalence is very high. Incidence and prevalence is very high in India, so we can quote this example to control the disease. Now, what is mean by elimination? It is used to describe the interruption of transmission of disease. If we interrupt the transmission of disease, that is mean by elimination. As elimination of measles, polio, diphtheria we have done in certain geographic area. These are the best example for elimination. Now, what is eradication? Eradication means tear out by the root. All the causes of that infection we have to tear out by the root. It is the process of termination of all transmission of infection by extermination of the infectious agent through the surveillance and containment. We have to take that, we have to cut down everything, means transmission of that disease, and we have to do continuous surveillance. Not a single case should be present for that disease. That means that disease is eradicated from the country. Monitoring is the performance and analysis of routine measurement aimed at detecting the changes in the environment or health status of the population. It is very much required thing. If we have to analysis or we have to check how is the progress of any national health program or anything, if we have done planning for certain program and we have to check that how that program is going on, that to do that you have to continuously monitor that program. Likewise, example, we have to monitor air pollution. If you are doing some program for air pollution, reduce the air pollution, you have to continuously monitor that air pollution or water quality or nutritional status for under 5 children or adolescent or ANC mothers. We have to continuous monitor. You have to give intervention in between and you have to monitor that program is effective or not. That will know by the continuous monitoring in between. Like in 12 months we have to take some certain goals and objective, and in between, like after 2 months or 3 months, we have to monitor that program, what is our achievement, we are going in a positive direction or not, or what are the our lacunae and we are lagging behind, or in terms of money, production, or in terms of output, patient benefits. We can monitor it, we can analyze it by the with the help of monitoring. So it is the best tool to run any program in a positive direction. Like for the program also, for planning also, it is the best method to analyze anything. Now, surveillance means to watch over with a great attention. That is, it is a continuous scrutiny of the factor that determine the occurrence and distribution of disease and the other condition of ill health. भैया ये बंद हो गया है क्या सब? तो मैं रुक जाऊँ अब, वहाँ रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं हो रहा होगा। और खाना एक फ्लोर रहता है, सब डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है। तो उधर रिकॉर्डिंग वगैरह सब बंद हो गई होगी ना अभी? अरे क्या, फिर से वो शुरू से शुरू करना पड़ेगा फिर। मुश्किल है ये। बैकअप नहीं है क्या इसको? बैकअप नहीं है इसको?
निकाल इसने डायरेक्ट चलते रहा हिस्से में। उसको निकाल दिया ना।
तो कब आएगा? पता नहीं कुछ।
कंटिन्यू है मैम?
कंटिन्यू है?
हाँ कंटिन्यू है।
तो ये जो लाइट गई उस बिटवीन रिकॉर्डिंग हुआ होगा?
कंटिन्यू
है?
हाँ कंटिन्यू।
ओहो
कोई नहीं।
ठीक। ओके। Okay, sorry for disturbance. Surveillance means to watch over with a great attention. That is, it is a continuous scrutiny of the factor that determine the occurrence and distribution of disease and other condition of ill health. Surveillance means we have to continuously search for specific diseases. Like there are variety of surveillance, like sentinel surveillance, rare disease surveillance also. So many types of surveillance are also there. Rare disease for HIV, rare diseases, rare cancer, we can do that. We can scrutinize all that cases in the community, and we have to inspect all the cases during the surveillance, and we have to take out measure of the that cases, so that we can note whatever amount of cases present in the community, and ultimately we can reduce the prevalence or incidence of the chronic or non-communicable or communicable diseases with the help of we can reduce the prevalence of any kind of disease with the help of surveillance. So it is the best method to do the scrutiny of the all the factors which are determine the occurrence and distribution of the diseases. So there are variety of surveillance. You people can go through it. It is present in PARC also and other books also. But at UG level, it is okay. You should know the definition of surveillance and types of surveillance, and one example for the surveillance. The main objective of surveillance are to provide the information about new and changing trend in the health status of the population, like morbidity, mortality, nutritional status and other indicator, and environmental hazards. The other various kind of health practices and other factor which may affect the health. We can scrutinize all these factors to reduce the provide the information, and we can note the changing the trend in the health status of the population with the help of surveillance. It provides the feedback which may be expected to modify the policy and the system itself and lead to the redefine the objectives. It also helps to provide timely warning of public health disaster so that intervention can be mobilized. So all these are the benefits for the surveillance. Now evaluation of control. Evaluation. All these terms are very important, like monitoring, surveillance, scrutiny, evaluation, control, prevalence and incidence. You should know the definition of all them and one example for them. Evaluation is the process by which results are compared with the objectives, and it is the assessment of how well the program is performing. Monitoring we are doing in between, and evaluation we are doing at the end of the program, or whatever goals and objective we have set for that program. After completion of that or after completion of time limit, we will evaluate that program and how much achievement we have done, or how much goals or objective we achieve in that program. We will evaluate with the help of all these things. So evaluation is also important. There is we can difference between evaluation. We can get a question like difference between evaluation and monitoring also. The concept of prevention. It is the goal of medicine that are required to promote health, preserve health, restore health and minimize the suffering and distress also. These goals are enclosed in the word prevention. All these words are very important for the prevention concept. For prevention, we will achieve prevention with the help of promotion of the health, preservation of health, restoration of health and minimize the suffering and distress of the people. Successful prevention is depend upon the knowledge of causation. If we know how that any disease can cause, then automatically we can break down that chain and we can reduce the transmission of that disease. Then identification of risk factor and risk group is also very beneficial to prevent any disease. Availability of prophylactic or early detection and treatment of any disease can automatically reduce the prevalence of disease. So if we know the causative agent, mode of transmission and their risk factor and risk group, then we can plan the early detection by various kind of screening and treatment for that people, for sufferers, so that we can reduce the incidence and prevalence of the any disease. An organization for applying these measures to appropriate person and group. All these measures, that knowledge of causative agent, transmission of any disease, risk factor, risk group, and then early detection and treatment, that all should be applied to appropriate person and groups so that we can minimize the burden of disease. Like if we identify high risk population for the hypertension by high risk group screening, automatically we will get to know who are at risk or who are in the primitive phase, so we can catch that people. We can give early interventions like lifestyle modification for hypertensive people or pre-hypertensive people, or dietary treatment or exercise yoga kind of therapy, so that that intervention will help to reduce the burden of that disease, and ultimately it will reduce the prevalence of that disease. And continuous evaluation of development of procedures should be applied in that any disease, so that we can prevent that disease. Prevention and natural history of disease, we will see that all this chart is very much familiar to you people. This is not new thing. So if we want to prevent any disease, we have to work on the different preventions, like primordial prevention, primary prevention, secondary or tertiary prevention. When you will do for how you will prevent all this thing, we will see it step by step. If we want to work on primordial prevention or primary prevention, we have to work on biological onset of disease first. Means it is a before the primordial prevention we have to do in preclinical phase, or in primary prevention we have to work on the preclinical phase or before that. So for primordial prevention we have to work before the appearance of risk factor. We have to give intervention, for example intervention for diabetes or hypertension we have to give from the childhood only. We have to change their diet pattern, their lifestyle, avoid sedentary lifestyle, avoid intake of salt intake should be balanced. That all intervention we have to put before the appearance of risk factor to prevent in the primordial prevention. And in primary prevention, that risk factor can appear before appearance of the disease. We have to work on that child or on that adult, so we can do the primary prevention for them. Then in secondary prevention, it is the prevention we can do in preclinical phase or in clinical phase. In between there somewhere some symptoms can appear, and how we can do this secondary prevention by early detection and treatment. How we will do early detection? We will do by the screening, population screening or high risk screening. We will do that to detect the high risk group, and we will give intervention to them, or we will detect the cases, and we will give as early as possible we will give the treatment to them, so that secondary prevention can fulfill their criteria. Then tertiary prevention is the everything now that diseases appear, that deformities already develop. After that, whatever we can preserve in that cases, whatever we can do rehabilitation or support therapy we can do, that will come under tertiary prevention. So this is the natural history of disease, and best possible treatment we have to give in primordial and primary prevention to reduce the prevalence or incidence of disease, and whatever cases appear in the community, for them we have to do secondary prevention like early diagnosis and treatment and continuous screening of the high risk population or general population. This is the best method to cut down the disease. Then there are different kind of level of prevention we have already seen, that is primordial prevention, primary prevention, secondary prevention and tertiary prevention. In primordial prevention, the prevention of a chronic disease like obesity, diabetes, hypertension, which they have their origin in the childhood, or genetic, whatever that familiar background, whatever genetic things are there, we can't change that, but we can prolong the situation, or we can cut down the onset of the disease. So we have to work for primordial prevention before the appearance of risk factor. They consist of action and measures that inhibit the emergence of risk factor in the form of environment, economic, social, behavioral condition and cultural pattern. In primary prevention, the action taken prior to the onset of disease, which removes the possibility of that disease will ever occur. That is not a guarantee that disease will not appear, but we can prolong that disease. We can restore the quality of life in that person, in which a disease can appear early, but because of certain primordial or primary prevention, we can prolong that disease. It means the intervention in the pre-pathogenesis phase of the disease or health problem. The primary prevention include the concept of positive health that will be enable every individual to lead the social and economically productive life, and it is very cheap method. It is less expensive method. Then secondary prevention, it is the action which stops the progress of disease at its initial stage and prevent the complication. The secondary prevention is a imperfect tool in controlling the transmission of disease, and it is the most expensive and less effective than primary prevention. Obviously, if patient is already having any disease like hypertension, diabetes, cancer kind of disease, whatever treatment is required for that patient have to pay some cost for that, and so that this is very costly prevention. Secondary prevention is as compared to the primary prevention. Then primary prevention include the concept of then tertiary prevention. All measures available to reduce or limit the impairment and disability and minimize the suffering caused by existing disability or good health. We have to, in tertiary prevention, we can't do much more, but we have to limit the impairment or disability, and we have to give them the better quality of life what they deserve. Now this is the level of prevention. In we have seen this all chart already. In this environmental determinants and social determinants, how that affect and whatever risk factor are there, that comes in primary prevention or primordial prevention. In preclinical phase or clinical phase, that comes in secondary prevention. We have to work on that in secondary prevention. In post clinical phase, it is a tertiary prevention, comes under tertiary prevention, and it prevent the relapse, further deterioration of that patient, and we have to give follow-up and rehabilitation therapy to them. Then what kind of intervention we can give so that we can give the better life to the patient. The intervention is defined as any attempt or effort in intervene or interrupt the usual sequence in the development of the disease in the human. We have to give some interruption so that the sequence of development of that disease we can prolong that or either stop that. 5 modes of interventions are there, like health promotion, specific protection, early diagnosis and treatment, disability limitation and rehabilitation. In health promotion, we can give health education to the people. We can give we can take awareness campaign, awareness program. We can use mass media for awareness in the community, like radio, internet, newspaper, advertisement, pamphlets, posters, we can all use, or ASHA worker or health worker, with the help of health worker we can educate to the people so that they should know the importance of education regarding that certain diseases, regarding risk factor, regarding transmission of disease, and we can cut down that transmission of disease with the help of education, by educating the layman or common people. Environmental modification is the also best method, like sanitation, hygiene. We can, if we modify, automatically it will reduce the transmission of disease. If we cut down the indoor air pollution, or house fly, or rodents in the, or garbage, or that closed drainage system, automatically so many diseases can reduce. Means better civilization can, or environmental practice can reduce the any transmission of any diseases, and we can promote the health in a better way with the help of that. Nutritional intervention, best example is midday meal program, or exclusive breastfeeding, complementary feeding programs are there that can reduce the malnutrition drastically. So nutritional intervention is also best health promotion method, so that malnutrition is very huge problem in India, and it is a triple burden kind of disease. So this kind of nutritional intervention is very beneficial, and this kind of health promotion for health promotion is required to know the importance of nutrition in early childhood, so that whatever diseases are coming in later life, that can reduce automatically, and lifestyle and behavioral changes also. And specific protection, best example is universal immunization program. We can do immunization for them, specific nutrition like vitamin A, vitamin C, like iron, folic acid supplementation kind of thing. Chemoprophylaxis also we can give. Protection against occupational hazards, protective measures, 6 monthly inspection or health checkup, various policies are also we can provide them. So specific protection related to various diseases and household also we can do that. Protection against accident, this is also best example for specific protection, and protection against carcinogens also we can give the example in this specific protection. You people have to remember that whatever you are writing in the paper, if you are giving examples related to that, automatically it will increase your marks. So try to give single examples for the any questions, so that automatically it will give the positive impact whoever is checking that paper. Then early diagnosis and treatment, this is the secondary kind of prevention, in that the main intervention is disease to control, and it is very costly kind of interventions, because whatever cost is required for the treatment and diagnosis, that is huge for the common people. Then disability limitation, the concept of disability is the sequence of events leading to disability and handicap started as follow. That is, disease will appear, then it will cause impairment of that person, then ultimately it will reduce to disability and then handicap. Impairment is defined as any loss or abnormality of physical, psychological or anatomical structure or function is called as impairment, and best example is loss of food, means after accident, or diabetes. If after accident that person is amputated, going to amputation, and he lost his food. Then disability, it is the consequences of impairment. It is defined as any restriction or lack of ability to perform any activity in manner or within the range considered normal human being. may be physical, cognitive, mental, sensory, emotional, developmental, or some combination of these. And disability may be present from birth or occur during the personal life. Like after accident, person lost that foot, and he disability is he's not able to walk properly, or he is now bedridden because of that amputation or loss of foot. That is the best example for the disability. Then a handicap is a result of disability. The person experiences this certain disadvantage in the life and is not able to discharge the obligation required of him and play the role expected of him in the society. Like he is not able to do routine thing after the amputation or loss of that foot. That is the example for the handicap. And disadvantage for the giving individual is resulting from the impairment or disability that limits or prevent the fulfillment of role that is normal for the individual. Then rehabilitation is the combined and coordinated use of medical, social, educational and vocational measure for treating and retaining the individual to the highest possible level of functional ability. Then this is the after losing loss of food, that patient is bedridden, he is not able to walk, so we will give the artificial foot, we will implant that foot, and now this is the rehabilitation therapy for him. Now he can do his daily activity with the help of that. This is the best example for the rehabilitation. That's all for today's class. Thank you so much.